that is given from section 42 onwards, right? The first section under welfare comes to be a washing facility. Now, as you know, prior to the passing of the Act of 1948, in fact, prior to the passing of the Act of 1881, which was revised in 35 and once again in 48, which is the present position, the washing was prohibited. That is, nobody was allowed to wash their clothes. Nobody was allowed to, use the facilities for bathing, etc., which was prohibited earlier in the factory premises. That facility was given to the individual, that a person should be able to use the washrooms wherever it is required that the working procedure creates lots of sweat and they need to take a bath during the working hours as well. Section 43 talks about storing and drying of clothes. So all the factory clothes can be allowed to be washed, and a facility, a cupboard was to be provided to each individual who could store their clothes. That is, the clothes that they are wearing outside and the clothes they are wearing in the factory. Both facilities were provided. Similarly, wherever a person could sit and work, that sitting facility was to be provided to them. Earlier, the assumption is that everybody has to stand and work all the time. But if the procedure is such that one can sit and watch after operating the machine, such sitting facilities should be provided to the individual under section 44. Section 45 talks about the maintenance of first aid appliances in the factories, and it says that wherever a factory 20 or more workers are working, then first aid facilities must be provided. Wherever 250 workers or more are working, they have to provide for ambulance facilities along with trained nurses and doctors. This section 46 says that wherever 250 or more workers are working, a canteen facility should be provided in the premises of the factory, which should be run by the workers, administered by the workers, but all the facilities will be provided by the management. These facilities include energy. These facilities includes utensils. This facility includes the furniture that is required to be used in the canteen, and the workers were allowed to buy their foods or sit there and eat whatever food they bring. Section 47 talks about provision of shelters, restrooms, and lunch rooms. Now, in every factory, they say that wherever the process of working is such, for example, in the construction industry and other types of industry, which is where the workers are supposed to work in open, shelters were to be provided to them so that they can take rest under that shelter. Similarly, a restroom was to be provided, and along with that, a lunch room was to be provided under section 47. Section 48 says that wherever 30 or more women workers are employed, crash facilities must be provided at the age of 6 years. Now, this crash has to be in the close vicinity of the factory, where lactic mothers can feed their children. Now, these crash should be, a furnished crash, but no food item will be provided. It will be manned by the train ayahs, but all the food has to be provided by the workers themselves. The facilities is that furniture would be there, the beds should be there for them, water facilities would be there, all kinds of facility will be provided except the food items, which has to be provided by the worker themselves for the children. They must have some playing facilities in the crash as well for the toddlers. Section 49 talks about the appointment of welfare officers in every factory wherein 500 or more workers are employed or ordinarily employed, the occupier shall employ in the factory such number of welfare officers as may be prescribed. Their duties and qualifications, including conditions of service, are to be as prescribed. Right? Section 50 talks about the power to make rules to supplement this chapter. This power rests with the appropriate government. Similarly, working hours for adults, that is there. Section 51 talks about weekly working hours. It says that no adult worker is to be required or allowed to work for more than 48 hours in a week. This is the working hour for an adult, maximum 48 hours that is there, that they have to work in a factory. Section 52 talks about holidays. No adult worker is to work on the first day of the week unless he or she unless he has or will have a holiday for the whole day on one of the 3 days immediately before or after that day, which is called the compensatory leave was to be provided. And manager has before that day or substituted the day, which is the earlier given prior notice to the inspector of his intention to require him to work on that day. Now this is as far as, now this weekly holiday is to be agreed upon between the management and the workers. In India, we know that normally the first day of the week, which is Sunday, happens to be the holiday like the British system that we have continued with. 53 talks about compensatory holidays in the event of exemption from the provision of Section 52. The worker provided of weekly holiday or any other day that they are on holiday, on a particular holiday they are supposed to work, they will be provided one-to-one compensatory leave for the same period. Section 54 talks about daily working hours, which they say that in no case daily working hours should be more than 9 hours a day, including the rest interval in between, which is given in section 55 that says that not more than 5 hours before interval of the rest of half an hour has to be provided, and in no case that should exceed 6 hours of working in continuation. So they have to be provided a rest interval of minimum half an hour after 5 hours, and in no case the day will be of more than 9 hours, including the rest intervals. Section 56 talks about spread over, that not more than 10.5 hours, not to exceed 12 hours, that is the spread over of work can be done with extra work that they are doing. Section 57 talks about night shifts, which has to be agreed upon with the worker. This says that holiday for a whole day means 24 hours following the end of the shift. So anybody who has worked maybe from the morning of say Tuesday, that is today, till in the evening of today in the night shift, and has worked till the Monday morning of Wednesday, he ordinarily will not be required to work before that. He will only be working on the next working day, and that is, they will be having a full 24 hours gap between the 2 shifts that they are working. Section 58 talks about prohibition of overlapping shifts. That is, 2 continuous shifts cannot be there, and that is, it is completely prohibited. 59 talks about extra wage has to be provided at the rate of 150% for overtime. Ordinarily rate means basic and DA and cash equivalent of food, etc., concession, but not bonus and overtime that is there. Time rate and not piece rate will be applicable here, and cash equivalent is for total entitlement. That is, the state government has right to make rules regarding this. We know that under the 6th Pay Commission as well as in 7th Pay Commission, overtime has been abolished. Section 60 talks about restriction of double employment, that is, an individual cannot work in two establishments at the same time, or they cannot work full time in a factory as well as have a part-time job, like having a shop or something of that kind of their own. That is completely prohibited. They can only do one employment at a time. Section 61 talks about notice of a period of work or of adults. That is, here they have to give a notice as to what would be the period for the adults. And section 62 talks about register of adult workers that has to be maintained by the factories. 64 talks about power to make rules by the state government, and 65 is the clause of exemption that is to be provided. A further restriction on employment of women, that is no exemption from section 54 IR provisions of daily working hours. That is 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. No women worker would be asked to work. That is the provision that is between 10 p.m. to 5 p.m. Shift change only after a weekly holiday is allowed, and exception to be noted in any case where it has to be provided, and rules and regulation has to be made regarding the whole period, that is for the adults, women and men. Employment of a young person is given under 67, where they are prohibited of employment of young children. No child who has not completed his 14 years is to be required or allowed to work in any factory, right? Child means a person who has not completed his 15 years of age. That is given. Section 68 talks about non-adult workers to carry tokens. That is, a child who has completed his 14 years or an adolescent is not to be required or allowed to work in a factory unless certificate of fitness is granted to him to in the custody of managers of the factory, and a token is given as a reference to the certificate is carried by him at the workplace. 69 talks about certificate of fitness, which has to be given by a surgeon as to the fitness of that particular individual to work as who are adolescent. He may revoke certificate of fitness if holder is no longer fit, and he refuses to grant certificate if he is given reasons. That is there as far as this provision goes. Section 70 talk about effect of certificate of fitness granted to the adolescents which are there. Right. Now, section 71 talks about working hours for children who are holding certificate, and that is not to exceed 4.5 hours in a day. That is the total working hour, not 9 hours, which is 9 hours for the adult. For a child, it is 4.5 hours. PDF of work to be limited to 2 shifts, no overlap or spread over more than 5 hours each in only one relay, not to be changed in 30 days. A weekly holiday with no exemption is to be provided to these people, and they were not to work in a factory on a day if he has worked in the another factory. Female child only between 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. should be allowed, not in the night shifts. Section 72 talks about notice period for the work for children, and maintenance of register is there. Power is required of medical examination, and power to make rules is with the state government, and certain other provisions of the law is barred from this. Annual leave with wages is also provided. That is, these provisions are not to be operated to the prejudice of any right of workers under law, and that is there, and they have to be provided 45 days of earned leave in a year. That is there. Now, what is given in 79A is annual leave with wages. Every worker who has worked for 240 days or more in a calendar year will be allowed in subsequent calendar year leave with wages calculated at the rate of, if adult, 1 day for every 20 days of work, if child, 1 day for every 15 days of work, and that explanation is given as to how they are going to calculate. If service does not commence on first day of January, worker is to be entitled to leave with wages, provided he has worked for 2/3 of the number of days in the remainder of the year. And that is given in the Factories Act. These leave provisions are, I think, built in detail as far as talks about your total provisions of the Factories Act of 1948, which is part of your syllabus. Now, what we will have to do, we have, which is part of your course. I'll just look at the welfare. That is the employee welfare. I'll just take a minute and come back. Right. So let us look at the employee welfare, which is part of your syllabus. Employee, or we call it labor welfare. The International Labour Organization, that is ILO report, refers to labor welfare as such services, facilities and amenities as may be established in or in the vicinity of undertaking to enable the persons employed in them to perform their work in healthy, congenial surroundings and provided with amenities conducive to work, conducive to good health and high morale that has to be maintained in the factories. This is the definition that is provided by the ILO. Is it visible? The slide is visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The Encyclopedia of Social Science has got another definition. It says that labor welfare is the voluntary effort of the employers to establish within the existing industrial system working, and sometimes it is required by law, the custom of the country, and the conditions of the market. That means it does not, Encyclopedia of Social Science does not consider statutory welfare as welfare. It is only considering voluntary welfare as the welfare schemes. The Committee of Experts on Welfare Facilities for Industrial Workers, convened by the ILO in 1963, included the following items under the labor welfare. So what we know that the labor welfare is of two types. One is referred to as statutory welfare and another one is referred to as voluntary welfare. What we are looking at as per the ILO is the statutory welfare, which talks about provisions of latrines and urinals that we have dealt with in the Factories Act as well. The facilities, washing and bathing facilities that is there in the Factories Act, crash facilities, that is, we said that for the 30 women workers are employed, rest shelters and canteens that is to be provided, that is also a welfare. arrangement for drinking water that is to be provided along with cold drinking water in the factories. Similarly, we also talk about arrangement for prevention of fatigue that is there, that does not, arrangement is such that the cooling is provided within the factories so that the fatigue does not arise. It also talks about administrative arrangement for the welfare of employee within the factories, uniforms and protective clothing that is provided to the workers, that is the dresses that is provided, and the washing allowances that is to be given for these protective clothing to the factory premises. That is also the welfare facility. Shift allowances is also a welfare facility. Now, welfare outside the establishment can be maternity benefits. We will look at Maternity Benefits Act as to what it is. We will also talk about social insurance measures, including gratuity, pension, provident fund, and rehabilitation of employees who retire beforehand. Similarly, establishment of benevolent funds, medical facilities, including programs of physical fitness and efficiency, family planning, and child welfare, education facilities within the factory premises, that is by establishing schools for children up to secondary level. Similarly, housing facilities that is to be provided to the workers is also given as the welfare facilities. Recreational facilities within the factories, including sports, cultural activities, libraries, reading rooms, etc., are part of the welfare facilities. Holiday homes and leave travel concessions that is provided, that is LTC and HTC, is also a welfare facility. Workers' cooperation, including consumer cooperative stores, fair price shops, and any kind of credit and shift societies that is established within the factory premises. The canteens where tax-free goods are provided to the workers are also welfare facilities. Similarly, vocational training for dependents of workers is a voluntary statutory welfare. Other programs for welfare of women, youth, and children is also there. Transport to and from the place of work, that is transport facilities provided to take the workers to the factory and bring them back to convenient points of their homes, is also statutory welfare that is there. Now, why there is a need for welfare measures? The need for the labor welfare arises from the very nature of industrial system, which is characterized by two basic factors. One, the conditions under which work is carried on and are not congenial for health. And second, when a labor joins an industry, he has to work in an entirely strange atmosphere. To go to extreme, it is hostile atmosphere, which creates problem for a stellar adjustment that is provided in the factories, and therefore what we have is that these welfare facilities has to be provided. According to Labor Investigation Committee, the need for labor welfare measures arises as these have the following benefit. Number one, education facilities, sports, entertainment, etc., make the worker feel that employer is interested in their day-to-day life, right? Housing and canteen, sickness and maternity benefit provident fund, and gratuity, pensions, etc., make the worker feel that they have a stake in the industry as much as anyone else has. And third, provision of good and clean food in the canteen improve their health, and entertainment reduces the incidence of vices, medical maternity benefits free, and workers of any kind of worries which are there. A welfare program for organized sector, if you look at, includes sanitary and hygiene facilities that is to be provided within the factory premises, rest facilities that is provided within the factory premises, feeding facilities that is provided, the mess or the elementary feeding facility with a few children, chairs and tables, and in some cases lockers that is to be provided for the workers. Now, if you look at this particular facility, which is sanitary and hygiene facility, the maintenance of clean sanitary and hygiene work environment is now accepted as an important basic facility amenity that is to be provided to the workers, which is provided in the Factories Act of 1948. Similarly, it also talks about maintenance of spittoons within the factory in hygienic conditions, which are there, right? We also have got rest facilities where the amenities provides a prescribed number of seats on the shop floor and restrooms or shelters. This facility helps to reduce fatigue of the workers, and this fatigue will also decrease the cases of any kind of accident which are there. Now what we find is that the lunchrooms in a factory with where 150 or more workers are employed has to be provided. The feeding facilities is there that has to be provided within every factory. That is, the construction of canteens is compulsory as per the Factories Act of 1948. It is also provided in the Mines Act of 1952, Motor Transport Act of 1961, and Plantation Act of 1951. So the welfare is not only provided in the Factories Act, it is also provided in the Mines Act, Transport Act, and Plantation Act, which is there. Similarly, medical facilities is there, which is health care for workers, will help reduce the incidence of sickness and absenteeism among them, increasing the productivity. What we find that the International Labour Organization made a provision for this, and in 1931 the Royal Commission on Labour and Labour Investigation Committee in 1946 underlined the necessity for providing basic and service, that is the health service, is greater in India than elsewhere because of adverse effects of unhealthy working environment which are there. Similarly, occupational health services, these are essential preventive measures, very common in the industry, advanced and Western countries, and are gaining importance and recognition in large sized undertakings in India as well. And therefore, these facilities are to be provided. Similarly, family planning has to be there because larger is the number of children, more stress would be there. Therefore, tremendous growth in population has increased the strength of labor force and created a number of economic problems, including the problem of unemployment, industrial unrest, and a great deal of attention has therefore been paid to family planning programs for industrial workers. The ILO resolution of 1947 has included family planning as an integral part of labor welfare that is to be provided to the workers. Similarly, crash facilities, we said that in some cases 50 women workers, a crash should be provided. This provision has been reduced to 30. 6 years, up to 6 years, a child would be provided a sanitary condition within the crash that is there. Housing is an integral part of workers' welfare. That is, the recommendation is given by the ILO for provision of this facility. Both the Industrial Commission of 1918 and Royal Commission of 1913 realized the importance, necessity of improving housing conditions, which used to be very, very poor. Similarly, transport facilities for taking people from the place of residence to place of work, recreation and cultural facilities to be provided, educational facilities to be provided, cooperative and personal counseling to be provided, distress relief and cash benefits to be provided. That is given in the Factories Act of 1948. Now let us look at the provisions of the welfare under the Motor Transport Act of 1961. The Motor Transport Act of 1961 provides that motor transport undertakings are required to provide certain welfare and health measures given as follows. Canteen of prescribed standard if employing 100 or more workers. is given under Section 8 of the Motor Transport Act. Similarly, clean, ventilated, well-lighted and comfortable restrooms at every place, that is at the depots wherein motor transport workers are required to halt at night, given in under Section 9. Similarly, uniforms be provided to them. Again, is given under Section 10. Medical facilities are to be provided to the motor transport workers at the operation or operating centers at the stations as may be prescribed by the state government under Section 11, because most motor transport are state transport corporations that is being run. And in UP, we have got UPSRTC, which works this facility. First aid facilities to be provided is equipped with are to be provided in every transporter vehicle. That is first aid boxes in every vehicle under Section that is there. Similarly, we find a ban of 1952 also talks about the welfare, where it says that drinking water is to be provided in every mines, both above and below the ground. Effective management arrangements shall be made to provide and maintain a suitable point conveniently situated for all persons employed therein, a sufficient supply of cool, wholesome drinking water. It has to be clean drinking water that is to be provided. All such points shall be legibly marked drinking water in a land stood by majority people employed in the mines, and no such point shall be situated within 20 feet of the jurisdiction till shorter in writing by the chief inspectors. So it has to be away from a loop that is in respect of mines, as prescribed of mines. Central government may make secure compliance with the provisions of Section 19. The prescribed content. Nothing except the prescribed content should be kept in this. Every mines wherein more than 500 or more workers are employed, they have to provide and maintain such ambulances and stretchers as may be prescribed, and the ambulance room for the prescribed size containing the prescribed equipment within this mine sector has to be provided. The hours and limitations of employment that is there, weekly day of rest has to be provided. No person shall be allowed to work in a mine on more than 6 days in any 1 week, and compensatory days of rest has to be provided if they are working on the holidays. Working hours of work above the ground. No adult employed above the ground in a mine shall be required to be allowed to work for more than 48 hours in any given week, and for more than 9 hours in a day. The period of work of any such adult shall be so.
Excuse me, sir. Slide is not visible.
Slide is not visible.
Yes, sir.
How is it possible there? I'll just check it. Is it visible now? Hello,
Yes,
is it
sir.
visible now?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
The period of work of any such adult shall be arranged that, along with his interval or rest, they shall not in any day spread over more than 12 hours, and that he has not worked for more than 5 hours continuously before he has an interval of rest or at least an hour of rest. So, in no case, even if there is an overtime, it should exceed 12 hours a day. No person belonging to two or more relays shall be allowed to do work for the same kind above the ground in the same moment that is there. The hours of work below ground, no adult employees below ground in a mine except a pump minder or an onsetter or an attendant of continuously operated machine shall be allowed to work for more than 48 hours in any week or for more than 8 hours in any day. So you would notice that the working hours is 9 hours for above the ground and 8 hours below the ground, which are there. No adult worker under subsection 1 shall be allowed to work for more than 54 hours in any week for more than 9 hours in any day. That is including the overtime. Work for the same kind shall not be carried out below the ground in any mine for a period spreading over more than 8 hours in any given day that is there. Similarly, special provisions for night relays are also provided where a worker works in a relay whose period of work extends beyond midnight. The ensuring day for him shall be deemed to be period of 24 hours, beginning at the end of the period of work fixed for the relay, that is shift working, that is there. Extra wages for overtime has to be paid, and we said that it is 1.5 times the normal wage. For the purpose of this section, ordinary rates of wage means basic wage plus such allowances including the cash equivalent is included for the purpose of calculation of overtime. Prohibition in employment of certain persons are also there. No person shall be allowed to work in a mine who has already been working in other mines within the preceding 12 hours which are there. Now the welfare facilities within this is that shelters has to be provided to all mine workers, and they have to have food and rest where more than 50 persons are employed. Factories Act provides for same, but wherein more than 150 workers are employed. In this case, they say only 50 workers in mines and 150 workers in the Factories Act. The canteen has to be provided for both Mines Act and Factories Act, but the provision is that in the Factories Act it is 250 workers or more if employed, whereas in Mines Act this provision, canteen is to be maintained. Mines Act lays down construction of standard canteens, that is cleanliness has to be there. It has specific rules on provisions for staff, canteens, canteen management committee, that is part of the workers' participation in management. We said the works committee provides for it. The washing facilities for storing and drying of clothes is also provided in the Mines Act, that is there, including the first aid appliances. It also talks about training of persons in the first aid has to be made, and first aid qualification, certificate of the standard has to be maintained within the mines. Similarly, Plantation Labor Act of 1951 also provides for health, that is drinking water has to be provided. There shall be provided separately for males and females the conservancy facilities for these people, that is under this particular area. Medical facilities also to be provided in the as per the Plantation Act, and they have to provide for a canteen without prejudice to the generality of the foregoing power. Such rules may be made by the state government. The foodstuffs to be provided in these canteens, that is to be maintained within the tea estates of any kind. Similarly, crash facility is also to be provided. Say that every plantation wherein 50 or more women workers are employed, they have to have a crash. This crash on any day of the preceding 12 months, wherein the number of children of the women worker, including women workers employed by the contractor, is 12 or more, there shall be provided with, maintained by the employer. Suitable rooms for use of children has to be there, and the explanation is provided. Children means who are below the age of 6 years, who are to be kept in these, crash. Notwithstanding any condition in clause 1, if in respect of any plantation wherein less than 50 women workers are ordinarily employed, the contractor or the contract workers are employed, they can provide a crash facility by giving a notice. The rooms referred to subsection 1A shall provide adequate accommodation, adequate lighting and ventilation, maintain clean and sanitary condition, under charge of a woman trained to care for the children in the crash, and the state government may provide rules for this. Similarly, recreational facilities has to be provided within the plantation area. Educational facilities has to be provided within the factory premises. That is, where children below the age of 6 and 12 of workers employed in any plantation exceeds 25 in number, the state government may make rules regarding this. Housing facilities are to be provided to the workers which are there as far as this particular provision is concerned. Now, they also say that under the Plantation Act, a plantation worker has to be provided with the umbrella, they have to be provided with a raincoat, they have to be provided with a boot, the plastic boots which they can use, because normally snakes are widely available within the plantation, be that a tea plantation area or a rubber plantation area. Therefore, protective equipment has to be provided to them, and these people should also be provided with a dress, within the Plantation Act of 1948, which is part of the welfare amenities that we are supposed to deal with. Thank you very much. We'll be starting with Social Security on the next turn. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.